Oh, we are live. Holy shit. That was quick. Sometimes this thing's a piece of dog shit and it takes like 3 minutes to get a fucking live stream going. But fantastic. I love to hear that. Saturday in the basement. Must be time for Sacktap Live. Drop your cocks, grab your socks. A fresh episode of the Savage Sacktap starts right now.
You're listening to the Savage Sacktap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sacktap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
How the fuck are we doing? Hello, Saturday morning. It's fantastic to be here. It's nice to have time to do this again. This is only the second episode back, so if I do kind of stumble over my own dick while I'm going through, give me a break. I gotta get back into it. I took like a month and a half off from doing this. We got going again last weekend. We're rolling back into it. I'm figuring out how to outline all this shit and do everything again, so just, give me a fucking chance, you fucks. But in any case, yes, I am Mike Montone. This is the Savage Sacktap. And it's Saturday morning. I went back to see my old high school football team play last night. It was great. It's always good to go home. I got a couple hometown slices and walked over to the football field while I ate them. Took a little trip down memory lane. Walked around where the streets where I used to get like boozed up and engaged in petty vandalism. It was a lot of fun. I was walking through the park. I was taking back memories of we used to when we were freshmen and the seniors would have a keg party. One of our friends got the genius idea that if we paid them a couple bucks and we showed up with like empty 2-liter bottles, like soda bottles, we could fill up beer from the kegs, and then we could go drink them wherever we wanted, because, seniors don't want they don't want freshman guys hanging out at their fucking parties. So we would go, we'd fill up, right after they got the keg at the beginning of the night, we'd fill up the 2-liter bottles, we'd go hang out in the fucking park, and just chug fucking 2-liter bottles of beer on like a bench, like a bunch of homeless guys, and smoke fucking, they weren't Black and Milds. I didn't get into those until college. Dutch Masters. That's right. We'd smoke like Dutch Masters and Philly Blunts and drink Natty Light out of 2-liter fucking Sprite bottles, and it could not have been more fun. I walked past the spot where it was like one of the first times I made out with a chick. And I got a rod. I didn't get a rod as an adult thinking about making out with a teenage girl. I was remembering being a teenager and getting a rod while making it. That it's a very important distinction to make, I think, when we're living in a post Jeffrey Epstein society, is that it's not the teenage girl that gives you a rod as an adult. You got the rod as a teenager. You're just remembering it happening. Very important to make that distinction. But yeah, I went to the football game, and it was great. It was not only did I get to see my guys play, they won finally. They're back up to 500. They had started off. I think they started off 0-2. They got to 1-2 last week, so maybe a chance for the playoffs. It's a nice break from sort of the pace and the bullshit of urban life. But you realize when you live and work in a city and you're living this fast-paced fucking world every day, that the suburbs also make people turn like soft as shit. You're looking around and you're interacting with people at the snack bar and stuff. I bitch about fucking tourists in Midtown, the way they move. Fuck. The way people move in the burbs is like a whole new kind of fucking slow. I forgot all about it. It's a very relaxed pace, but nothing really challenges people in the suburbs anymore. Once you've gotten there, you're pretty much resigned to, unless you get like a crippling illness or like a mass shooting or something like that. It really is just a very, very easy, soft life which I guess is what there has to be a fucked up underbelly to the suburbs, right? Because otherwise these people are living in abject boredom for, when do you move to the burbs? Usually around like 30 or so. And then you move out maybe, in your 60s, your 70s to, go to Florida or, retire to wherever. You're basically resigning yourself to 3 to 4 decades, the prime of your existence will be spent just living this sort of monotonous terror. This is why suburban women fuck the UPS man. I mean, this is why the mailman and the UPS man and these pizza delivery guys in the suburbs are getting so much housewife pussy, is because it's why guys who commute to and from the city are, in the old days, you can't do it so much anymore with the Me Too and the text messaging and everything, you get caught. But that's why these guys who, they would leave the old briefcase and the nice parted haircut and the suit, and my baby takes the morning train. They'd go into the city and they'd be they'd be swilling scotch and drinking cigarettes and fucking their big-assed hairy bushed secretaries over a desk. It's because back in the burbs they were bored as shit, and their wife's back home just sweeping up, taking a fucking Xanax, pouring back a glass of white wine like, this is terrible, this is what I have to do to keep a roof over my fucking head. Yeah, awful. It's just there's no challenges to life anymore, and especially in a very affluent suburb like Glen Rock, New Jersey, where I hail from. It's just you just see how, unless you force yourself to be a fucking animal. Like, I was hanging out with one of my buddies. He's in the National Guard. He fucking works out hard. He's got guns. He's very still lives that physical fucking man's life. There's not a lot of that going on out there. You look around and I see a couple rows in front of me. There's this fucking guy, and I mean, just the quintessential suburban-looking dad. He's got just that fucking soft as shit face, no form to it, no jawbone, no chin. Looks like he can't take a punch worth of fuck. A little pot belly protruding. He's got the polo shirt on, and it's tucked into his khakis. And he's not fat, but the pot belly is just kind of sticking, pushing out. And you're just like, oh, I could just fucking poke you and make you squeal, couldn't I, you fucking pussy? And I guess they were talking about Daniel Jones, and they must have been hanging out with Redskins fans. And the Giants are playing the Skins this weekend, and he turns to this guy who's with him, and he just says, yeah, are you ready for it? Because Sunday, the guy said, yeah, we're going to the game on Sunday. And he said, oh yeah, you're going to see the Redskins get their butt kicked. And gave him the little point, like a fucking girly point to the face, like a middle-aged mother coaching girls softball. It was just the most embarrassing, least masculine thing I have ever seen a grown man do. I mean, maybe not the most, but fucking up there. I was once umpiring a Little League baseball game, and some fucking kid got a single, and he got to first base, and I guess his dad was the first base coach, and his dad gave him a kiss on the head and said, great job, honey. And I was like, oh yeah, well, maybe that's the worst fucking thing. What a fucking loser. But yeah, and then it's weird, the women, on the other hand, become lunatics. It's like a complete role reversal. Like, the men in these communities become like these just impotent, ineffectual, losers who no one wants to fuck. The women, on the other hand, it's like they turn into these balls of rage. They shit out a couple of kids. The biological clock starts winding down. Menopause starts approaching. The hot flashes start kicking in, and they turn into absolute fucking psychopaths. And it's amazing, the trope of the overprotective mother who sees danger at every turn. If you hang out in they've the town Facebook pages, and you look on there, and it's like every little fucking thing that happens, and they're writing paragraphs about, and they're all fucking insane, because what if little Johnny doesn't have the perfect day at school today? It'll be terrible. And you're like, ugh, this is you're raising a little generation of homos. And speaking of which, I think probably one of the best things that, like, encapsulates the softening of the suburbs, and it happened in my hometown a few years ago. They had the first annual Glen Rock, New Jersey Pride celebration. Yes, that's right. And I don't care. That's fine if you want to have, Pride. They have a whole month for it to have a Pride celebration. But I don't give a shit. Like, I have a lot of gay friends. That's their thing. The Italians have San Gennaro on Columbus Day. The fucking Jews have, Passover, Yom Kippur. Everyone's got their thing. The Irish have St. Patty's. The gays have Pride Month. That makes sense to me. That I get that. That's cool. You want to celebrate. But they brought in Barney Frank, who I believe was the first openly gay U.S. lawmaker. They brought him in to raise the pride flag above Glen Rock, New Jersey. Yes, that hotbed, long known as a hotbed of homophobia and discrimination, Glen Rock, New Jersey. They brought in fucking Barney Frank, taking time out of his schedule to go to Glen Rock to raise the pride flag. Again, it's not an anti-gay thing. It's just there's probably a better, you could have done it different. You didn't fucking need this. It was unnecessary. You were essentially just making yourselves feel good about how progressive you are. They kind of get into this thing where they do things not because of the righteousness or the virtue of the cause, but they do it just to make themselves feel good. It's just absolutely fucking preposterous. Yeah, it's, again, the ease of modern life is just turning us into pathetic animals. I was crossing, what was it, 8th Ave, near 43rd Street, outside the Port Authority, Friday morning, and you realize, it's in moments like this that you realize just how oblivious and stupid human beings are, and how if we ever have to go back to any kind of a even mildly predatory society, a lot of people are going to be completely fucked. We're walking across. I don't wear earphones or headphones or AirPods or any of that shit when I'm walking around the city, because it's fucking stupid. I used to when I was younger, but then I realized, maybe pay some fucking attention when you're walking around. But these idiots they're just plodding across the intersection, and there's an ambulance there with lights screaming, blazing, siren going, and they're just taking their fucking time, dilly-dallying. The ambulance has to get through. I'm caught in this crowd. I'm trying to get to the other side so I can get the fuck out, so the ambulance can go and, get whoever to the hospital, or get to the fire or the shooting or whatever very important thing the ambulance is trying to get to. And these fucking dopes are just walking down the street, crossing 8th Ave, not paying attention, gonna get hit. Ambulance can wait, because I'm a shithead. Just absolutely fucking terrible. It's not, and that's not the only example. That was like the most like stand out example that I had this week. But just this morning, and last night, I observed so much more. I was going to catch my train back home to go to the game, and they're doing construction in the train station. It's a very narrow walkway, right? You gotta be quick. Lots of people, rush hour. Can't be selfish. Hold everything up. And I'm like, why is it fucking taking so long? Because I'm looking ahead, and there are no people at the end, but we're all backed up and clogged and moving slow. And then, so I kind of maneuver around to the front, and it's this just fucking short, fat little troll, and she's walking, headphones in, scrolling through text messages on her phone at the head of the line. I really think we need to get to a point where if someone's doing that, people go say punch Nazis. That might be a tad extreme, but how about punch dumbasses who staunch the flow of physical human movement when we're trying to get somewhere. I think that if you're walking somewhere, especially in the vicinity or adjacent to public transportation, and some dumbass has their face down in their phone and they're waddling and moving slowly without a care in the world for what other people have to do and holding up everyone else, then you get to hit them. You get to just fucking jack them in the face, knock them out, and then everyone can step over their fucking unconscious body on the ground and get to where they're going quicker. And then, you know, the local teenagers can come, take their wallet and their AirPods and their phone and pawn them for beer money or whatever the fuck it is kids do these days. But it's absolutely absurd, and not even it's amazing how many instances of this I come across on a daily basis, on the bus playing games and having conversations and on FaceTime and shit. I was grocery shopping this morning. Some chick, she works at ShopRite. She's pushing a cart through the store. She's supposed to be stocking the shelves and, moving things around. Sometimes maybe someone will grab some rice and they'll want to buy it, and then 2 aisles later they'll decide, fuck it, I don't want rice, and they'll just stick it on a shelf. So she's supposed to be putting the stuff back, but she's not hard at work at her task. She's like, kind of slowly plodding along, pushing the cart with the phone in her face, looking at fucking text messages in a narrow grocery aisle. You're just like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Like, your station in life is not going to progress beyond a grocery store jackass if that is the way you approach life. Like, you see, because there are people that you come across at this ShopRite that I go to who are, they're hard workers, they're go-getters, they're busting their fucking asses, and they're doing things, and you're like, oh, this kid's going to be okay when he gets older. Like, this is great, he's learning how to work now, he's making a couple bucks, when this kid gets out into the world, going to be fine. And then you see the dumbass going through the aisle, looking at her phone while pushing the cart, reading text while you're at work. Like, fuck, what are you here for? You're here for fucking 8 hours. Do your fucking job. You're in a grocery store. There's plenty of entertaining shit going on. Grocery stores are very entertaining places. They got light rock pumping through the speakers. We got MILFs in yoga pants, big fat asses walking around all over the place. There's a lot of stuff to take in at a grocery store. I love a good trip to the grocery store. I will deviate briefly. One thing that throws me into a violent rage, though, if you manage a grocery store, take note, when a good song is on, don't come over the PA system and interrupt it. The fucking grocery store, one of the pleasures of the grocery store is listening to oldies and light rock while I pick out, a new bottle of soy sauce. Please do not ruin that because you have to call some teenager to the stock room to sexually harass. That can wait until the commercial break, is what I'm saying. But yeah, it's where people are spending their lives. Sorry, I have a few text messages coming. I got a little distracted. People are spending their lives staring at screens. This woman, I was at the park this morning on my way to the store. I stopped at the park to check out, the New York City skyline, and this dope. I don't want to call her, she's not so much a dope as